All right, I wanted to do a quick video on this because I'd ordered this model and I found that I have a feeling all the images are reversed. I can follow up in the description on that as well. But okay, this is a problem that people are having, and it's not their fault. The very first piece is D6, and it appears to be at the back. And all right, so it clearly shows E2, which I had marked, and it shows this ring, and you know that notch has to go in the ring. And most everybody is going to put it together like this because that's what it shows in the picture, that little scallop cutout at the back. And that's when it starts to go downhill from the very first step. So if you've done this, it's not your fault. So if this is upright and this round feature lines up and you press it together, you can make it happen. But everything you do from that point on is going to be off by a little bit. Okay, I just kind of lightly press that in there. When I flip this over, you can see that this feature in the part I just attached is not concentric with this. And you know, when they engineered this, they didn't mean for it to be like that. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to flip it and put it back together. Again, it's actually poorly designed. They should have spaced those little nubs out, not at 120 intervals. They should have had one off. Now you can see this feature is perfectly concentric with the cutout. But you might say, wait a minute, how did he do that? Okay, let's take one close shot of this. And you see the scallop looks like it's at the back and E2 is on the left. Okay, now it's a little blurry, but let's see if you can see that image. It's mirrored. So what I'm going to do is take, just like you just saw it on my phone, E2 and put it on the right, not the left like the picture shows. And now it shows, sorry, I got it upside down. It shows the scallop at the back. Okay. So this is your first gluing, or at least that's what I did. So the image is mirrored, and as you start to try to put these other panels on that are shown in this picture, right away you're going to see that they don't line up. Like when I had it the other way around, let's flip it back the other way around. This is going to be the majority of the video because you'll be fine after the first step. It shows D4. Okay, let me find D4. Okay, this is D4. That is not correct. You're not supposed to have that big slot in there. So I grabbed the only other piece that would fit, and it fits. So you see, this can have an effect that continues. So if I flip this around the right way, but I mirror it, just like, let's take one more look at I have to block, there you go. So study that for just a second. You see how E2 is on the right. D6, everything's backward because I mirrored the image. D6, and it doesn't have that notch that it shows, just to be clear. It has the scallop at the back, but, sorry. It has the scallop at the back on D6. but it's attached to E2 with E2 on the right side now. Okay, you say, oh, I've got it. Scallop at the back, E2 on the right. And then if I look at this, I know it doesn't focus well because of the lights above. It's trying to focus on those. So now it says to take D4 in our mirrored configuration. Here's D4. Guess what? It goes right together. Now the next thing that you're going to run into, and I'll get to that in a minute, is the bottom. They've done the same thing. It's got a notch in it, and it can go one way or the other. And it's very important to know which way it goes, because it's not until you get to the side panel that you find out which way it goes. And not only that, but this is what accepts the bottom piece. And you don't want this to be out. It'll make more sense when I get to that step. See how it goes together like that. But the only thing to show you how to line this up is one door. The bigger gap, a little further down. The bigger part of the gap is at the bottom. The smaller gap is at the top. You see how this is nice and smooth all the way around. This one has two little pieces here. It's not completely cut out or jogged the whole way. And that's so it will fit on here. But that's so many more steps down the line. You could already have this glued in backward, and you wouldn't know it. But I'm going to go ahead and assemble up to this step and show you which orientation is correct. All right, so this is still what I would consider the first step, right? Where you're putting on D6 and D3. But remember, I'm going off my phone, right? It's mirrored. So this should look mirrored as well. And I just verified this because, like I said, you would get both sides here, and then these pieces on both sides, and then you would see these little nubs down. I'll spin it around, but I'll take this off. So you'd put all those pieces on, and then when you go to put this piece on that has the two little parts here, that's when you're going to find out the bottom on here is wrong. Yes, it's just not focusing very well, but yeah, you can see how that lines up. So what worked the best for me is take the instructions and mirror the images. So the scallop's on the back, E2 is on the right, and then you see the bottom ring, those extra notches are at the back. And then that way, when you go to put the bottom on, I got everything loose right now, so I'm just trying to pass this along because I saw videos on it before I purchased it because I wanted to see what kind of model it was. It seems to be a good model. It's just at least those images, and if it's those images, I'm guessing there's going to be more images, or the whole thing is printed. The graphics part of it is backwards. And obviously, the print is correct, but that's where the confusion is. That, and they show a notch in this piece that doesn't have a notch. So anyway, I hope that helps. I think, luckily, this is just the kit with the CSM. The other kit was I forget what brand it was, but it is a different brand. Same scale. This is 48th scale, and that's what my lunar module is. So anyway, like I said, start out with that E2 on the right. The scallop goes to the back, and then when you put that top piece on, it's going to line up properly, because those little nub things are supposed to go into those holes, and that will line up perfectly the way it's supposed to. And the same down the line, because like I said, you would get the side, this side, this side, and then when you get down to these last two little panels, that's when you'd be like, oh man, it doesn't work. And if you're picky like I am, it's not only, you could cut those little pieces off or do whatever and rig it, but the whole bottom is going to be on backward 180 degree. So anyway, if there's anything else I run into, I'll post it.